What's up, y'all? This is Ty. I am here to review season 3, episode 6. Yes, episode 6 of All the Queen's Men, which comes on BET. Well, I should say streams on BET Plus. So if you have BET Plus, check this out. You know, they told me, they said, Ty, you need to check this show out. It's on BET Plus. It's about all these muscular strippers. It reminds me of you, because they just say I'm. No, but they would tell me I need to check this show out. So here I am in season 3, episode 6. The title of the episode is Never Scared. But before I get into this episode, let me give a shout outs to those of you who are watching this show with me and left comments in the last review of this show. Lamont Simpson, Mark Johnson. Thank you, Mark Johnson, because he's telling me I really need to check out season 1. He was giving me some backstory, which was important. Karima Khadija, June BLC, Savannah Rivers Amore, Dupree, and all the rest of you wonderful people that hold me down in the comment section. Let's keep this channel going and growing. So let's get right down to this episode. Big D walks in on Tommy with Casanova down in the torture dungeon or whatever you want to call that. And that scene, Tommy's like, what are you doing down here? And he's like, oh, I was just walking around, looking around. How you end up in the basement? You just looking around. Don't you just look around on the first floor? How you in the basement? You're snooping around. So immediately I said, he's probably some kind of undercover cop or something, because that didn't make no sense to me that you just, oh yeah, I was killing Tom and I'm walking around. You end up in the basement? You found the torture chamber? For real? Nah, bro, you are a cop. That's what I said immediately. So I'm thinking that, and then he's telling what's his name, oh, I'm legit. Listen, don't kill him with that gun. Use this gun, because apparently, see, I don't know too much. You gun enthusiasts, you tell me. Apparently, depending on, there's certain guns with certain bullets where you won't bleed, you'll bleed a certain way. So if you use this gun, that's what Big D is telling him. If you use this gun and shoot like this instead of like that, the blood will stay inside. And and you got me some wrapping paper, blah blah blah. And so Tommy at first was like, yo, put that gun away at first. Then he's like, no, trust me. So then he uses his gun. Big D shoots Casanova, pop, 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 pop. And I'm like, okay, maybe he isn't a cop. But then something still wasn't sitting right with me. Then he's like, let's wrap him up. They wrap him up. And you know what I'm going to do like I used to do in New Orleans? I'm going to take him out to the swamp and dump him there. So he told Tommy, don't worry about it. I got it. And I'm saying to myself, now, Tommy, why would you trust that? Why don't you go with him? And so he wrapped him up or whatever. And I was like, that's interesting. That was, I don't know how I felt about that. So that was that scene. Meanwhile, while that's going on, Trouble is still pissed off and angry. And, she's got a major attitude. But Trouble and what's his name, Rayshawn and Champ are hanging out. And Rayshawn mentions that he needs some money. His money's kind of low. Things are not going too well for him. And Champ told him, he's a masseuse. He does massages and he's trained and he does a little bit more than massaging. And so they get to talking, and somehow Trouble starts airing out his business about Miss Tandy and what Miss Tandy did to Rayshawn. And I'm like, well, what did she do? And we find out that Miss Tandy took all of his money and then they chained him up and raped him with a dildo. Oh my, that's a lot. This show is crazy, and some of the dialogue is just so raw and crazy. It was like, she was like, yeah, he raped him with a dildo. And then when it was time for them to try to speak to Trouble, she gets a little attitude and storms out because she's like, yo, that place is crazy. Y'all just have no idea. So she's still upset about, what she witnessed and what she went through. So and what happened with her and Madam and all of that. She's still shook a little bit about that. And she's taking it out on Rayshawn. I think his name is Rayshawn. If it's not Rayshawn, it's Rashawn, whatever. But y'all will correct me if I'm saying his name wrong. But that was interesting. And I'm like, dag. So, and he's vowing revenge on Miss Tandy for sticking that dildo up him like that. So that's going to be interesting. What else is going on in this episode? We got the usual Joey and Tommy, and Tommy's really not feeling Joey, and Joey mentions to Blue that, he doesn't think that Tommy is the right one for the job. And Tommy walked in and heard him say that. And he's like, what you say? He said, listen, I'm going to keep this professional. I ain't going to say nothing else. So he can't stand him because Tommy feels like he's Madam's right hand man and this, that, and the third. And I thought that was interesting. What was crazy was interesting is the way Tommy is. He's funny because he's like this tough guy, but he bakes cookies and things like that. And he told Blue he can't stand Joey and this, that, and the third. But he has to let her know. He has to let Madam know that it was Big D who killed Casanova. And he asked Blue, like, where you get this dude from? What you know about this dude? Because, he's impressed. He's like, he knew how to shoot him with certain guns that the bullets will make the blood not spill out. Yo, this dude is dope. I like him. He's impressed. And I'm still going, something's not right in the water with this dude. None of that just adds up to me. And a lot of things I had questions. A lot of things in this episode didn't add up as it pertains to that. Meanwhile, he has to let Madam know. Eventually, he does let Madam know. When they have this conversation, Madam was a little impressed with Big D as well. But you know what made me laugh with that? Tommy was like, Madam, do you need some loving? And she was like, yeah, not right now, but maybe in the morning I'll let you eat my meow. I was like, okay. And she said the word, and I was like, damn, this show is so raw and crazy. Really raw and crazy. Meanwhile, see, this is where I get confused, y'all, with the timeline. Did Big D, we know that Big D, because Tommy said it, that Big D, he put a tracker on Big D's car. So Big D did eventually drive off to the swamp or wherever to dump the body. But how did he dump the body, then come back to the club to get Dime? Because he's back at the club with Dime and he's telling Dime, somebody slashed her tires, and we don't know if it's Amp or whoever. Somebody slashed both her tires, and so she's upset. Why do I feel like I think Big D slashed the tires just so he could get her to come with him? So he's like, yeah, girl, you could come with me, this, that, that. Ain't nothing gonna happen. You could come with me. So she decides, she tell him out. This was stupid. She says to him, she says, I don't feel comfortable with you coming to my house, but I'll go to yours or your hotel, wherever he's staying. What is the difference? Danger is danger. If you don't trust this person enough to let them know where you live and be in their house, you going to their house doesn't make you any safer. Why don't you say, to me, that didn't make sense. Am I the only one that thought that? Because it's one thing I get. You don't want to go to a dude's house. You don't want the dude going to your house, but you're going to go to his. But if he's the serial killer, you're in more danger at his house because come on. That's where you meet in public places and things like that. But I just thought that statement, y'all tell me if y'all agree with me or not. I just thought that was strange. She was like, well, I'm not comfortable letting you know where I live, but I'll come to your house. Okay, but you go to his house, you could still be in danger. Or wherever, his hotel or whatever, because you're in his domain. So I don't know. That was just something that I thought was crazy. And then we have Amp, who's still butthurt and angry. And I believe one of the people who comment, Mark Johnson, said Amp was not annoying like this the first season. So when I go back and watch season 1, I'll see, because he's quite annoying. Quite annoying in this. And so I didn't like the way he was speaking to Fuego. Fuego was trying to speak to him, I'm your friend, this, that, and the third. And he says some stupid bull like, are you trying to F? You want to F me? Because I'm straight. But if you looking for some D. And I was like, the guy's telling you he could be your friend, and you telling him, you're questioning whether or not he's gay and if he wants some of you because you're not gay. And he was like, we're cool, but we not friends. We ain't cool like that. And my thing is, Fuego was still being nice, like, my brother, I'm here for you. Some dude tell me some stupid stuff like that after I'm trying to be a brother to you and be a friend, and you're going to ask me if I want some D? Peace, bro. I'm leaving you alone because clearly you're ignorant. Because I'm like, what is that about? I'm like, what? I thought that was so stupid. So you're like saying to him, are you Do you want some D? And then he even reiterated. He said, "Well, listen, okay, I hear you, bro. But again, if you need some, you want some meow, come to me. But if you want some D, I can't help you with that." Like, what was that about? But speaking of D, we got to see Nurse Johnson, and she was sucking on the old man's D, and now she's his little do girl now. And he told her, call my daughter for me. Like, he just treats her so like she's under control now. And she called Madam for him, and they had a conversation. And her father said, "Did you get to the governor's daughter yet?" And she says, "No, but might have some other thing that might be going good." She said, "I have this woman, I think, whose husband is running for mayor. That might be something we could work out." So her and her father had that good conversation. That was interesting. Then we had some sex going on. The detective and Doc were getting it on, and that was interesting. And she's like, after they had sex the first time, she's telling him, "I need you to give me her." He said, "Wait a minute. You thought you had some good meow that this was going to cause me to now give up Madam? That's not going to happen." So I thought that was an interesting and weird dialogue. And then they start talking. She said, "Well, no, I just came over here to F you because I wanted to F you." And then they went and going into round one and round two. They went and got it on again. But that's interesting because I'm thinking, is he going to fall for her? Are they going to, what's going to happen with that? What is the real tactic there? And also, what if Madam or somebody sees her coming out of his house? Will that make Madam not trust him? Interesting, right? Then we had another sex scene, which was bizarre. It was, I believe his name is Face and Midnight and two other young ladies. And that scene just was a little weird to me because when they finished, the ladies left, the guys are there, Midnight and Face were there, and they're having a conversation about the money, who gets what, because I guess they got paid to have sex with these ladies. And he's like, "Get out of my house." And first they're arguing about payment, and he said, "That's what you did to Ray Sean. You didn't pay him right. I ain't Ray Sean. You gonna give me my cut." And Face was like, "Well, I'm the one that got them. You shouldn't get 50-50. You should get a portion, but not 50-50. And Midnight was like, "This is my house." And I'm saying, I hope his house does not just include that bed and that chair. I'm like, is there more room to this place? But that, even his bedroom, what a weird bedroom. I was like, the bedroom looked like a sex club or some kind of. It was interesting. Their conversation was interesting, and he told him what you did to Ray Sean wasn't cool, and you wrong for that, and you cold, and this, that, and the third. So I guess that's going to build up to something. But that scene I don't know, that scene just seemed weird to me. That whole scene of them just still sitting there butt naked, having this casual conversation over money. That just wasn't. I just didn't sit with me. I was like, that's interesting. Then we also had Blue getting a call from Fernando, and she's taunting him, and he's about how she had his wife and this, that, and the third, and she asked him, did he get effed in prison, and taunting him. And she still wants to go home, which is irritating to me. And if she would have went home, she would have found Fernando at her house. And, that would have been crazy. And he was like, "I'm at your house. You got this cheap furniture." I thought that scene was funny when he said that to her, that she had this cheap furniture and things like that. But I was just like, I don't know, that nobody seems to be making smart choice. That her wanting to go home like that is stupid. Listen to Madam and let this thing play out. Meanwhile, we get back to Big D and Dime, and now Dime is drunk. Where did they stop off? She seems drunk, or what? Did she get drunk at his hotel room with him? And he's, playing with her and foreplay, this, that, and the third. And she's like, "No, you can't do it. We can't do it right now. We can't have sex." Then she tells him to go get a condom. He has no condoms on him, no condoms in his wallet, no condoms in the drawer, nothing. But he got condoms in the car. Okay, so he's like, "Let me go, let me get dressed," and run to the car. He runs to the car, and he's going to the back of the trunk. And I'm like, the condoms in the trunk? He opens the back of the car. In the trunk is Casanova wrapped in plastic. And I'm like, come on, he's still alive. So this is where apparently he never killed Casanova. I guess those were blanks that he shot. And he's clearly an undercover cop or something. He said, "You gonna get my cover blown? I got her here. This, that, and the third." They're having a conversation. Casanova's like, "I gotta pee. Let me out of this." He's like, "No, I can't let you out right now. This, that, and the third." She's in there, and you're in plastic. Pee in the plastic. That made me laugh. But like, are you gonna go get the condoms, like you said? And then as they're having that conversation, he closed them. Listen, my question is, so you drove to the swamp with the body in the back, didn't dump it because your car is being tracked, and Tommy did say that he had a tracker, so he knows he went to the swamp or wherever. You drove there, came back, got Dime. Dime was in the car with you and didn't notice this body in the back of the car. Interesting. That's just me. I'm trying to figure that out. So as he's having that conversation, here comes Crybaby Amp, which now I'm confused again. Why is Amp coming to Big D's hotel? What makes him decide to come? And he's like, "Who the F you was talking to over there, N?" And that's another thing. They say the N word way too much in this show for me. I don't know. Is it just me? I feel like it's like every other sentence. But he asked Big D, who was he speaking to? And my thing was, again, what made him follow Big D? What made him decide to go to, what made Amp decide to go to Big D's hotel room? Or was he going there to fight him? I don't know. That was interesting. So y'all tell me your thoughts, what you think about this episode. I just had a few questions. I'm like, so now what's going to happen? Did Amp actually see Casanova in the plastic or what? You know, this is going to be interesting. Y'all tell me your thoughts. We got to see what's going to happen next week. That's all I have for now. And if there's anything I left out or anything y'all think will help me understand this better, leave it down in the comment section. But that's all I have for now. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video.